you look around the league, there's a lot of teams, in the hunt. We're in the hunt. You sit here and you say, hey, Thanksgiving, and close to the end of November, and we're in the hunt. When you sit around that table tomorrow, you're saying we're in the hunt. And there's a lot of teams that wish they were in the hunt. Well, we're in the hunt.
Just fast forward to the Tom Connect song. We know that's the only reason you even clicked on this episode. Because why the hell would someone want to hear about the Bills game? What kind of sick fuck would oh, that was great. Oh, let's hear three guys who don't know what the hell they're talking about. They'll ease my pain.
Maybe Bengals fans are listening.
That's true. That's true. I can't believe I'm here. It's a miracle that I'm doing this podcast right now. You guys better say something. It's the In the Hunt cast. It's Shaun Murphy, Kyle Turner. I'm Greg Bauk, and this is against my will.
I've told you, Greg, people look for us when they lose. When they're in a bad mood, people look for our podcast.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear, the breakdown of why they lost. They don't give a shit why they lost. They just want to hear us talk about our dicks.
Didn't you see the Bills though symbol go over the night sky last night? we're needed to heal a broken city.
Boy,
Byron Brown put it on. It was on top of City Hall.
I feel like Bruce Wayne just wanting to quit, but knowing Gotham needs him. Now I feel Batman's pain. He just wants to, just let go and hang out with Anne Hathaway at that French friggin' cafe. That's what I want to do. I can't do this for you people anymore. I really can't.
Your city needs you.
Yeah, my city can go to hell. Sorry, city.
It's close. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, good. They're already there. What? Don't do the thing where we're gonna change everything. Are we doing that? Please don't. We're not.
Can I talk about my tailgate?
Yeah, I'd love to hear about your tailgate. That'd be the greatest thing ever.
I thought this is pretty good. It's lighthearted. So for Christmas, I got a flat top grill.
You're gonna say 4 people died.
Yeah, it's exactly what I wanted for Christmas. Santa came through on that. I got a flat top grill. So tailgate options opened up drastically for us.
Could you explain to a loser what a flat top grill is?
So
sounds like something a hip hop artist would ask the barber to do to their hair.
But now before this, Kyle had a hilly grill. And it was tough to cook.
The meat kept rolling off and everything. Now it's flat.
Stop cheering me up. Okay, flat top grill. What is that?
Flat top grill. It's imagine a grill that has grates, but now it's just flat. So you can cook like pancakes on it.
Oh, okay. So no grates.
No grates, just flat.
Oh, it's like a George Foreman grill. Is that what you got?
No, flat top grill. I don't know how else to.
Is it?
You are sitting in front of a computer. It is propane, yes.
I'm not Googling that. I don't want the government to know that I don't know what a flat top grill is.
I had to look up thesaurus. I didn't look it up. You told me. But
so you can't see the fire, so how do you know when it's on? Kids got to be burning themselves left and right on these flat top grills.
I don't think you are thinking enough.
All right, I'll search it. I'll search it. This is gonna blow me away when I see what this is.
You've never worked in a kitchen?
Yeah, but
that's what most restaurants have, a flat top grill.
Okay, yeah, I used to work at Abbott Pizza, and I would make my steak and cheese subs on these flat top grills.
Exactly. So last week I had we made steak and cheese subs.
Oh,
This week we made breakfast burritos.
Oh wow!
And then waited a couple hours, and then we made fried bologna with onions and cheddar cheese.
God,
and
that's good.
It was good. Rick is part of the tailgate, past guest. Louis, part of the tailgate, past guest. And so we had that yesterday. And when I got home, I swear to God, I almost had to call 911 because my farts were so bad.
From the bologna?
It's what I imagined, it's what death smells like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It hurt to fart. Every time I farted, I braced because it hurt so bad.
Yeah.
But it was worth it because the food was great. And if anybody has any flat top ideas for food, let me know.
You ever have like farts so bad you feel like your intestines might like be like holes might open in them and it'll ruin all the air pressure?
Yeah.
Like the inside gas is so bad that like this is gonna go haywire somehow.
Hmm.
Like this is bad for
One
me.
time I got food poisoning. I won't mention what restaurant in Buffalo, but it is on
Ooh.
Hurdle.
It rhymes with
And
Zarbies.
and I got food poisoning so bad that for the next week I burped sulfur. It was pretty
Mm,
crazy. I like woke my girlfriend up with the smell and she left the room at one point. But that was pretty crazy.
rotten egg smell.
Anyways, I just wanted to tell you my tailgate ruled
Mm.
before we got into the game. So there was good yesterday.
And
And it
Sucks that
was
you
at my
it
tailgate.
sucks that you can't use that flat top grill for a while. We need to just think of a reason.
Yeah, just you could just have
Yeah,
people
man.
over and
The
use the grill.
Buffalo Bandits.
Mm,
I don't know if they're good. I don't even know if they're playing now.
they're doing excellent.
The
Perfect.
it was also fun editing last week's episode, which I missed. A lot of me being an asshole. A
Mhm.
lot
That was
of,
Brad.
a
That was
lot-
That
Brad.
was Brad.
Although
Brad,
we were holding up little cards of what to say.
Yeah.
We're like, call him this.
a lot of me being particular about editing, which I don't think I am as much so much as occasionally Kyle and Greg will be like, I just recorded in an aircraft carrier. Is that okay for you? And I'm like, no, just preferably do it in like a room. And it'd be like, well, okay, but I really like recording there. It's fun for me.
Shaun, I couldn't find my microphone, so I used a calypso drum. Is that okay? The acoustic's good with that.
I just want to go
Oh,
on the
man.
record that it's more that than it is me being particular on anything.
We were nice to you when we were describing why you weren't there. We said it's because you had busy Hollywood life, you were
Mhm.
working. It was nothing about your penis being a mangled, broken organ like
That
when
is
I
true.
miss a
That is
podcast
true.
so many times. We were good to you.
Although
Um,
Brad hates you right now. Like Brad
He wants
doesn't know
to
you,
come
but
on
he
the
hates
pod
you.
and replace you with Scott Wilson. So, so good. We're in the hunt for 4-person pod with no Shaun.
guys, we've had too much fun. Let's talk a
Yeah.
little bit about the
Oh.
game. I want to start by saying maybe Kyle got to me all year,
Maybe.
but I felt nothing. Like I don't
No.
know, like the last 2 years it kind of hurts a little bit, and this year it just felt a little expected. Maybe because they were a little off all year, or because I just thought we were even with the Bengals, the KC, San Fran / Philly. Like I just didn't really expect them to go all the way this year. I just felt like, oh, they lost. Yeah, they were either going to lose this week or next week. Like that's how I felt in my.
So you didn't think at all they were going to win the Super Bowl.
I mean, I of course I'm always kind of thinking that, but I just think in my gut as the loss came over me, I was like, yeah, this is like it just didn't hit me the way the last 2 years did. I felt almost like I felt with the Jacksonville loss, where I was like in the playoffs all those years ago, where I'm like, oh, got to playoffs, that's fun. Like I almost just didn't. I know that's crazy to say with 13 wins, but I didn't hit me that hard.
I try and be logical, and boy, there's nothing more logical than this statement, but I feel like one of those movies where the main character is trying to be logical, but everyone else is insane. They lost 3 games by a total of 8 points.
I know.
Like
I agree.
And it just doesn't, but I think like, I don't think that, like, that's why I started off and I asked you guys, is this going to be a change everything? Because like Twitter and Facebook and all that is change everything. Fire the coaches, fire the staff. I understand criticisms because the game was just so bad. But like the Miami game was bad. It wasn't like this. Like this game was just Cincinnati was better.
Yeah.
And going into the game, like a friend of mine was asking, my friend Dave was like, hey, how you feeling? I always ask you how you're feeling before the game. And I was like, I really feel like if they played this game 100 times, both teams would have 50. Now, obviously, then you watch the game, and I don't think that at all. I don't think the Bills would have beaten them a single time because since he just brought it. But I really think it's football. Sports are just stupid. And games are hard to win, not to sound like Dick Duran. And since you come up with a game plan and you hope it's good for the offense and good for the defense, like obviously Buffalo didn't just not plan. They put a plan together and then it just didn't fucking work, both sides of the ball. And then they didn't make any adjustments to make it work. Well, the defense might have made some adjustments. I didn't watch the second half of the game, so I don't know if the Bills defense was actually good in slowing them down, but I don't know. I don't think that means that even Dorsey has to go or Leslie Frazier has to go, because I think they did really good. It's just you're not going to fucking.
Yeah.
It's not their year,
And
and it
just
never will be, and they'll never win the Super Bowl
and a,
ever.
and a quick addendum before we let Kyle get in here, but I think the Miami game, which I turned off at half, kind of just broke me. Was like, I don't think they got it this year, and I don't know if that's there's any logic to that statement, because like Greg said, you could point to like the advanced stats and they only lost 3 games by 8 points, and I get all that, but I think the Miami game hit me, and I was like, I just don't think I'm gonna hope. There's a chance they got a really good players, but it just didn't feel like it was happening this year. And that's where it hit me, was last week. But Kyle, you
No. Well, I said it last week, and I can just repeat it. Is just literally like, I felt like for the past 2 months I was saying it, of being like, man, this offense doesn't seem like it's clicking properly. And eventually they'll have to play a top tier team. And I don't think this team beats a top tier team. I was saying it for 2 months, and everyone was calling me a fucking idiot and telling me that they're putting up 34 points. And I was like, I'm not.
You could
You're
just use
not
my
wrong.
name. You could just use
Yeah.
Greg's name.
Well,
It was me.
I did last week, so I don't want to keep saying it. But the leader was Greg. And all along, I named 3 teams that I was like, if they run into the Chiefs, the Bengals, or the Eagles, and I guess now you could throw in the 49ers, but all year I'd use those 3 teams as if they run into these teams, I don't know if they're beating them the way this offense is going now. Because the first time they faced KC, they put up 24 and held the Chiefs to 20, but the offense didn't look as stagnant at times. And this was the perfect example of now what people have been saying the whole time, of like, it just seems like they're going out there and going, Josh, make something happen. And you can't keep that up against good teams. Yes, you can beat the Browns and the Patriots and the Jets and barely beat Miami twice. You know what I mean? But like, the step above Miami, I don't think you're beating those teams consistently with what they had on the field the last 2 months of the year. And it's just one of those things where, like, again, I was saying it for like 2 months while everyone is, and not just me, other people were saying it on Twitter, and then other people would shut them down and be like, you're a fucking idiot. Look, their offense is number 2 in DVOA and efficiency, and they're the second best scoring offense in the league. And I was like, the whole time I was like, but I'm not wrong, because now enough people. And then the week before this game, 2 national reporters wrote about how the offense isn't as good as it looks. And what happens? There's like fan sites dedicated to the Bills that break down film, shut that shit down. And then what happens the next week? Exactly what those 2 national reporter articles brought up, of like, hey, this isn't a recipe for winning. This is just, you're throwing shit in a pan, and sometimes it turns out good, and eventually though you're going to accidentally use salt instead of sugar, and you're going to get a fucked up product. And it just so happened to be in the playoffs when you can't reverse it.
The one part I'll pick out that was actually, it's interesting. Like you said, that those 2 articles came out and people were like shutting it down. I saw people kind of, you were ahead of the game on this, but I saw people saying, wow, that's how I feel. Like I saw a lot of people actually agreeing with those
it was the first time, like, again, the people who were saying it, myself, we're not coming, you had no stats behind it. Like, again, like what you would say, I would say the offense looked bad today. And then, Greg, you're not wrong. You would look at me and go, they put up 35. Josh Allen threw for 350 and 3 touchdowns. Shut up, Kyle. And I go, well, I got no stats to back it up. So what am I going to throw in your face? And it just so happened that it just finally caught wind that, like, these 2 national reporters who were watching or reporting on the team was like, nah, they're right. Something's not right here with this offense.
Well, Dorsey's not going anywhere. He's not going to get a job. He's not going to get a job, and they're not going to fire Dorsey. Sean McDermott does not fire Ken Dorsey. I'd be fucking amazed. Do you disagree with that? Do you think there's a chance at all that, unless he gets a job somewhere else, which he isn't, or steps down, which he won't, do you think he like McDermott gets rid of him.
I personally think I would, put in money with Lou that both coordinators are back next year. I think that's the most likely scenario. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, if I want it, but I think that's the most likely scenario. Is that both coordinators?
You better get used to it. Like it doesn't matter if you think it's not, because you better get right with it, as the kids say.
The only thing that scares me with that, and I believe I said this last year after the Chiefs loss, is the old saying, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Doing the same pod over and over.
Doing the same thing over and expecting different results. They only lost 3 games, so the same.
Oh my God! So now you're glass half full again, Greg. You're on.
No,
I
always
was.
Side. I was letting you talk, and I was listening to it, and I think that I'm insane now because I don't think they need to change everything. I think that it was really good, and they just 3.
I mean, they're not. They keep losing in the playoffs. Something isn't good enough. You keep losing in the playoffs, and it's gotten worse. AFC Championship game, second round, now second round again, and you played terrible at home.
That's the 2 teams though. Cincy is good. I think Cincy was better this year than they were last year, and Kansas City just can't beat them for some reason. So the Kansas City has a better quarterback. Kansas City has a better offensive coordinator. Kansas City has one of the best tight ends in football history, and their frigging offense is unstoppable.
So what are you going to do to beat them?
You're going to beat Cincy and hope that Mahomes can't walk next week. And this would have been a great year for that. But you know what? Cincy just smacked the shit out of you.
Yes.
Because apparently Cincy is good too. I'm amazed that they played as well as they did, that we got no pressure whatsoever, and they just bullied us. That was very surprising to me.
That's
it. Like you're not losing every year in the playoffs to just like every single different team. You lost 3 years.
I know, but if those are the 2 teams you keep, you have to beat, and you keep not being able to get past one of them now.
Sean's going to get mad because I'm going to cheat.
Something has to change.
I'm going to cheat. So next year you have Von Miller, which was like such a big offseason move. Next year you have Von Miller, you have Micah Hyde,
Jordan Poyer.
Like some maybe Poyer, maybe not Trim Edmonds, whatever. But you have like a retooled defense and maybe a better number 2 receiver. I think that would help. I think in beating Kansas City, maybe you have home field advantage again. Maybe that game's played in a dome. Who knows? Like I think that I would run it back. I think they're that good.
Yeah, but Cincy's going to get better. They're not going to not draft.
Oh, are they keeping, like, I don't know their situation, and maybe we can get on this in the offseason.
They're not drafted. You know what I mean? Like, KC's got picks. Cincy has picks. Miami's going to get better. Like, all the teams around the Bills are going to get better, too.
What's T. Higgins' contract situation? What's Boyd's contract situation? Like, they're going to have ebbs and flows too going into the year, and they're hot right now, and the Bills just weren't as hot.
Yeah.
And I think there is something to, like, I sound like an asshole and an idiot saying it, but I really do think you get hot at a certain time, and the Bills were like scorching at the end of the year. They just didn't squib a stupid fucking kick.
It is also interesting to me, again, with the defense, who I didn't think was going to be the problem, but like it does seem like Frazier's defense, when faced in the playoffs, tends to give up more meaningful points, if that makes sense. Like, I wonder, it's just one of those things where the Bills are so good. I wonder how much of their stats are propped up on beating the shit out of the bottom tier teams.
Well, let's focus in on a couple of things here before we defense. Let's talk about the defense. Obviously, a lot was made of like the Bengals O-line being banged up, and I mean, this is a narrative going around. One I brought up. I want to bring. I had a good rant. It's not just Kyle bringing up good rants from earlier.
Real quick, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are signed for like 4 more years. I didn't bring that up. I just wanted to mention it. So go ahead. I want to hear your rant.
I had a rant a couple weeks ago about how I think the poor drafting or average drafting might end up kind of hurting this team, especially this year where teams like where we have people like Bernard, 3rd-round pick, can't even make the field at all.
Yeah.
But
Kyrie Elam was inactive for a few games.
Yeah, but most importantly, that how much resources into the defensive line. And I know their game plan was kind of to get the ball out quick and everything like that. So sometimes the D line's just not going to have a lot of fancy stats. But like, man, Basham, Epinesa, like even Rousseau, Shaq Lawson, like it was just, I mean, obviously pretty much no one on the team played good, but you kind of, that was a group that you expected to do a little something throughout the course of the game. And not only didn't do anything, but you know, like imagine if we didn't have an Epinesa and that was a fucking guard, you know, like just how much better, or that was a receiver. You know, like you're just saying, like, I know you could do that stuff all day, but you put so many resources into those position groups, and you haven't got much out of them, not only when you needed them most, but all season.
I mean, again, this is one of those things that like even Oliver is good for sure. No one's saying he's not good, but man, did you expect the 9th overall pick to all of a sudden establish himself in his, I believe his 4th season? Because they picked up the option for next year. I just thought I thought he would turn into like a Chris Jones, where it's like unanimous, like this guy's almost unblockable the whole time. And he flashed a couple times this season, but like, you know, so what you're saying yesterday at multiple points in the game, you had 2 1st-round picks and 2 2nd-round picks on the line together. And if you were to just say that, if you were to go, hey, your defensive line has 2 1st-round picks and 2 2nd-round picks under this regime,
you'd expect it to be like Washington.
Yeah, you'd expect it to be like, oh shit, they're killing people. And it never is like that. And I don't know if that's is that a Frazier thing? Is that a coaching thing? Where are you not getting the most out of your players? Because like, again, Oliver being, in my opinion, the most disappointing, because I really thought he was going to jump into like, this guy's a top 5 defensive tackle for sure this year. And I don't think that's the case even close. I think he's really good, but he's not, you know what I mean? Like all the comparisons of him and Aaron Donald. And I know that's drastic. One's almost a Hall of Famer in Aaron Donald. But like, I just thought it was going to be that like, well, he's unblockable. Of a Kyle Williams type, if you will, if I'm trying to portray a perfect guy who's like, was top 5 in the league for multiple years in a row, and everybody in the NFL knew Kyle Williams was amazing.
And the scheme talk is really interesting too, because you, like I said, I don't think Frazier is going anywhere, but there are these things of like, you know, if you're so in love with zone, why do you draft Elam? And then like when he kind of seems like he outplays Dane Jackson or would be better suited for certain wide receivers, then why don't you play him? And why, you know, there was that picture going around on Twitter showing that I think it was like a 3rd and 5 when Cincy was in our red zone. And we had like 8-9 people at the line, and all 3 of their receivers were like, you couldn't even see a cornerback on them before they would have gotten the first down. That was when we threw a quick thing to Jamar Chase, and it was like, you know, he didn't have to sweat to get that first. And it's just like, hey, you're one just like, what's going on here? What miscommunication is happening? That why are you picking that player for that scheme? Why are you not changing the scheme? Like, it's just very, very confusing sometimes.
I saw the post of like the players off the line, and that'll drive you crazy. Like
it looked photoshopped, didn't it? It was so unbelievable that I literally said, I was in the parking lot for 19 hours yesterday. And I said, I was showing, you know, the people in the car, I go, this has to be photoshopped.
They're all saying, Kyle, shut up. We're trying to listen to music. Look at this picture. Don't they look bad?
Pass my phone around.
I don't ever really think that anyone knows more than the coaches, but you look at some things and you like, you know, you're just so disappointed by how bad they were. You do wonder, like, what's the worst that could have happened if you just bumped them? Like, if you just did some press coverage,
right.
Like, what's the worst that they would have scored more longer touchdowns, but you wouldn't be giving up these 3rd and 5s.
Yeah.
That was just it wasn't at the game. It had to be so disappointed in that first half when you had all those thirds and tens and everyone screaming, and you can hardly even hear the announcers on the TV, and they just kept giving them up. Like Cincy could do whatever the hell they wanted. Every time they ran the ball, they got 9 yards.
Yeah, it definitely. I think the whole Frazier McDermott defense is so keen on like not getting beat deep that it is still like it seems like a conservative defense where they're just terrified of like don't give up the big play. I don't know. It's just again like
and like I said, I don't think and I want to segue to the offense in a second, but like I don't think Frazier's going anywhere, as we said, but like he's been the only kind of DC here with this group, and I'm interested to see what just someone else would do with them. Like, do we have so much talent that someone else comes in and they're like, oh, this is way better? Or you know what I'm saying? Like, it would be interesting to see someone else use these tools because there's a lot of good players here.
Yeah. Well, this is with the defense too. I just, anyone is probably looking this stat up, but like the Bills, this is after investing, like you said, all those picks into defense to be disruptive on a front four. They were 17th in sack percentage. And again, you have 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks from you. They're all within their rookie contract. And you're not doing anything. You're not generating any pressure. So whose fault is that? Like you said, is that Bean for being bad at scouting? Is that Frazier for not dialing up more, I don't know, stunts or a more unique blitzing packages? Or is that the defensive line coach? I don't fucking know.
It's the fans' fault for not believing. Excuse me. Believing.
People were,
I don't yell anymore.
I texted Kyle and he's like, I'm not believing. And I'm like, you're at the game, Kyle. You got to believe.
You got to believe.
Yeah. I just keep telling people, I go, that's spelled wrong. It's not how you spell believe.
Well, I want to talk about a little bit about the offense, then we'll get into question game and more talk about farts. So let's focus on the offense a little bit. First of all, I think such bullshit is the people wanting to make a big thing about this Diggs story. I think that's just like, yeah, he lost the game, he's angry. Like who cares? He wasn't, and he's right. He's the best player in the offense. He wasn't involved enough, and he's a little angry.
I don't play for the team, and I couldn't watch the second half. I had to go walk my dog. Shut up about Stephon Diggs.
Exactly. We couldn't record yesterday because Greg didn't want to.
Honest to God. And I can't believe I'm fucking here today.
Greg is the Stephon Diggs of the podcast, and I'm going to be honest. Most of the time, he's right. Most of the time, we shouldn't be recording. And
there's a picture of me watching another podcast go with the streamers going in the background. I'm just like, I got my hands on my head. That could be me on that podcast, not this. I lost a trivia game and I get mad. I watch Kyle celebrate with his jersey that doesn't exist.
And, at the end of the day, I have some criticisms of the D, but to me, modern NFL, you put 10 points up at home. Yeah. I still get madder at the offense. Something is everyone, it was just a shitty performance all the way around. And it's like Kyle was saying, it seems like they're asking Allen to be a superhero too much. And sometimes he's really, really good, but also can't fix everything. There's that, even the first possession just barely missed Diggs, and that would have been a big play. And, they're just a little off.
That is the thing about this. Like we talk about, they lose in the playoffs. So you're always like 5 plays away from it being a completely different game. And all 5 plays were the Bills on third down.
Yeah. And, like we talked before about like at some point, and I feel like they'll hopefully finally do it this year. You need to put some resources into your offensive line. You need to, Kyle, God, I hate giving Kyle
olive branches.
I hate giving him the olive branches. But Kyle was very early on with talking about Yak. Very early on, we need to get someone for
years.
Yak.
We're talking years, baby.
Yeah, he would. Sometimes I just get a text from Kyle, 3 a.m. It just said more Yak. Yeah. And I'm just like, God,
Yak, baby.
He's obsessed with it. And the Bills started getting obsessed with it. The whole offseason we heard about, we need a pass catching running back. They tried to
Mhm.
get that one guy out of Chicago, I think it was. I forget whoever that was. They didn't get him. They got Cook. They got Hines. They got two. That's how much they brought McKenzie back, and we talked about all offseason. They didn't use Hines at all.
They did fake a jet sweep to him. They didn't use Hines.
Yeah.
They did fake a jet sweep to Hines in the first half.
Jeremy White had a tweet that they beat 6 teams in Yaks, and all those teams were bad/rushing teams. And I just don't understand. They seem so focused on it, and they got 2 people to do it, and then they didn't ever do it.
Here's
Cook had 12 catches or something like that.
Yeah, I think same thing. The same Jeremy White tweet. I think he had 18 catches and 21 target. I don't know, something fucking. Who cares? Gives a shit. Anyways, this is something that was brought up at the Miami game after last week's Miami game. Tony Romo, that Gabe Davis touchdown, right? Where everyone's losing their shit. It was shown all across how they're like, this guy's insane. No one can make this throw. He's flat-footed. He's at pressure. And even Tony Romo, during the broadcast, it was brought up. Tony Romo goes, oh, he should hit Cole Beasley here on the short route. And then he doesn't, and he hits Gabe Davis for a touchdown. This is what I've been trying to say all year. Allen refuses to throw these short routes, either the dump off to the back or these short crossing routes, always looking for the deep ball. And yes, every once in a while, you're going to hit Stephon Diggs for a deep ball or Gabe Davis for a touchdown. But if that's 1 out of every 8 times, and that means 7 out of 8 times the drive stalls, is that one time worth it?
Maybe.
And who knows? Maybe that one time wins a game. True, absolutely. But like, maybe those other 7 times affects the game too, where like, instead of air mailing a ball or throwing an interception, you just dump it off. Like, someone's got to get that to him where like, the deep ball is great. And I'm not telling you to dump it off every time, but man, every once in a while, especially on these like 3rd and 2s, I'm like, just dump it the fuck off and go for the deep ball on first down.
They were also, he was more conservative this week, and that didn't do anything either.
This is a theory I had too, of like, everyone's missing Daboll, me included. Why wouldn't you? The offense was what everyone thought. Again, like, eye test wise, was more consistently good than the offense was this year. Do you think there's maybe what Daboll was best at was like reeling in Allen and like yelling at him? Because do you remember on Allen's second year, there's that like gif of Brian Daboll screaming at him on the sideline and like pointing to his head, probably telling him to use his fucking head. And I wonder if Dorsey is like, yeah, I'm not going to yell at Josh Allen. Whereas Daboll was kind of like this father figure of like, you're a rookie, I'm your offensive coordinator, you listen to me. Ken Dorsey's taken over superstar Josh Allen. What are you going to do, yell at superstar Josh Allen? Where he's just like, I don't know, you do what you want, man. I'm not going to yell at him the way Daboll did. And Daboll was known as a yeller. I just wonder if maybe Daboll's best traits was being able to control Josh Allen.
I mean, it could be a little bit, but there's also just like, if you get some, more successful kind of plays, especially in the intermediary range there, like that kind of frees. We've been talking all year about it. It'd be nice to have some like easy plays, like
when's the last time you saw a bootleg and a fucking screen?
Yeah.
I've been yelling about screens for 4 years.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a fucking screen this year or a bootleg. Just a nice. San Francisco is about to go to the NFC Championship game, and all they run are bootlegs. They just do a play action. The quarterback rolls to his right or left, and then there's a George Kittle or a Deebo Samuel open, wide the fuck open. It can happen. It can happen. I just haven't seen it here.
San Francisco, they just fuck me up with football. Like, I refuse to believe Kyle Shanahan is that much better than other coaches. And was he the last player taken in the draft? Brock Purdy? Is that like he's
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Irrelevant? Or
Yeah.
it's just so fucking stupid. Like for 20 years, the Bills would try all these things like, oh, trading up to get Sammy Watkins or drafting another white defensive end. It's like, it doesn't matter. Just draft a quarterback. Draft 7 quarterbacks. You need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Everyone knows we finally got a quarterback. We're good. So we have a quarterback. San Fran. Oh, here's the last guy taken in the draft. Oh, good. NFC Championship game. They're going to fucking beat the Eagles and beat the Chiefs or Bengals. Like they're going to win a Super Bowl with Brock fucking Purdy. And I'm going to lose my goddamn mind.
You're completely right. Cause I'm almost convinced I could play quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. Like that's how
you could complete a pass.
Yeah. Like
you would complete a pass in
the
that
system
offense.
Seems so good that I feel like I would go out there, shit my pants, and I'd be like, is Kittle wide open? I think I can make that. And I just feel like that would work.
I've seen you throw a football. You know how to throw a football. It would be a spiral. It would be hilarious to see it like in the context of an NFL game, like how bad it would be compared to like if you would just went out in the street and played some catch, the football would be going back and forth. Everything would be fine. If you took a snap, was able to get it up and throw the football, I would probably throw up from laughing at how ridiculous it looked. And that's me or you, not just you.
You'd see me like, I'd have the mic would be like, wind took that. It was, I can't. We'll start winding this down to get in the questioning game. But one tweet I saw that I really liked was like, I forget who it was, but the idea being that like you really need to focus on a certain kind of side of the ball. And KC did a good job of being like, we are going to be the best offense in the league. We're going to throw almost all of our resources at that, and our defense will be average to bad, but it almost won't matter because we're giving Mahomes so much to work with. And I think you could really see that, like, we put a lot of our resources in the D, and that could work. But the fact that hasn't really, not all those players have borne fruit. And then in addition to that, you're not putting as much into the offense. I mean, what have you given Josh Allen? You haven't drafted an offensive lineman. Gabe Davis is a 4th round pick. Got James Cook in the 2nd round. Like, you haven't really given him much other than Stephon Diggs. And I think that's going to be the big change, hopefully the big change this next year.
There ain't much out there.
Yeah, but I'm even just in draft, even if they just go wide receiver, offensive lineman, the first 2 rounds, that's a seismic shift for this organization. They haven't done that since they've been in town.
Well, we should talk about it now because I'm not doing the off-season pods. Like, I'm not doing the fucking draft.
You say that every year. You don't want to see Joe B?
No, have Joe B do it. What the hell am I going to add to the conversation? Joe B, have you ever had a black shit before? Like it literally comes out black, Joe?
Greg, you ask very important questions like, when is the draft? I mean, we need you to get through
Who are the Bills taking?
Yeah, we'd be lost without you.
I do like the hot mock, but I'm not doing. We need to do one episode where it's draft, free agency, and everything, and just do it. And it's 15 minutes long.
I wonder,
and I'm not a part of it.
And you do 4 of it.
I do 4 of it.
You come in, talk about Kyle Sparks, and you're out of there.
I do it like a Bortles reporter. I just get a really old tape recorder and say it into there. Hey guys, this is my draft coverage, and just tell you my hot mock, and then you can add it into the recording.
It is telling that KC trades Tyreek Hill, and they're better. Mm-hmm. They're somehow better.
Yep.
They drafted Sky Moore, who barely plays this year, barely does anything this year. They signed Juju Smith-Schuster, and
they traded for the Giants
trade for Kadarius Toney, who was hurt. He's there now, but it's not like he's a key piece to the offense. But he is a piece for sure. And I just keep on wondering, like, if the Bills traded Stephon Diggs, could they even survive? And the Chiefs got better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they traded their 2nd best offensive weapon. I guess you could make the argument 3rd if you're counting, if you put Kelsey over him, which is warranted for sure. But like, you trade one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, and you replace him with a 2nd round pick who doesn't play, and Juju Smith-Schuster, who is a free agent.
Yeah.
And your offense got better. I don't see that. The Bills can't do that. And again, this comes to like how important it is to like get an offensive coordinator that could scheme your offense to be the best it possibly can. And maybe Dorsey learns, but I just don't see it. It's just so frustrating because you're like, dude, you were given gold and you turned it into bronze. And bronze is there. Bronze is worth something, but you didn't shine up the gold. You made it worse somehow. And again, if you're willing to sit there and be like, well, he's gonna learn, but like it's tough when Andy Reid's the best fucking play caller in the NFL and the best offensive coordinator in the NFL, and he has the best quarterback in the NFL, and you're just like, we have Ken Dorsey and the other best quarterback.
They did beat the Chiefs. They can beat the Chiefs. I mean, they're never going to win the Super Bowl, but they can beat the Chiefs. They just didn't
They
beat the Bengals
Chiefs,
this
yes,
year.
early on, but again, something in the offense happened. And I know, did you today, Josh Allen, during his locker cleanout, they asked him about the elbow, and he said he openly said 2 weeks ago was the first time I started to be able to throw how I used to throw. He said for the majority of the season after that, he had to change his mechanics because he couldn't throw that way.
That's why they don't scheme the receivers open. They want them standing completely still so Josh can get it to him better. He doesn't want to hit a moving target. That's why they do that thing where the receivers run into each other. So there's more guys there to catch it because it's going to be a little off target.
Kyle, did you have a tweet of the game or anything like that?
No, don't do it.
No, your tweet was pretty good.
Thank you.
That was ballsy. I was nervous. I go, oh my God, Murphy's about to get canceled by Bills Mafia.
No, everyone liked it. I got no bad response.
Yeah, it was a solid tweet. I showed it to the car. After that, I go, look at Murphy's tweet. I go, that's ballsy.
Look at how high those engagement numbers are going. He showed it to a car full of people. Yeah.
I should say my tweet was, whoa, the Bills are going to lose by 3 possessions. That's our favorite number this year.
Yeah.
Because we did talk about how the numerology around the DeMar thing was very dumb, where everything that could be put into threes was done.
I want to say I've seen some conspiracies online about DeMar actually not being alive.
Oh God,
and
I
want to say that if you believe that, you should be killed. Sorry. I don't know if that's legal to say.
No, I don't want them procreating.
You should be killed, or at bare minimum,
cut your balls off.
Horribly disfigured and sterilized, just in case you accidentally fuck like a sheep and it somehow impregnates the sheep. Either way, it's bad.
Someone who thinks DeMar Hamlin is dead and that the Bills are weekend at burning him, that person would fuck a sheep, and it would create a sheep that was even dumber than a normal sheep. Like it would not be as smart as a sheep.
It doesn't even create wool. It just like steel bristles come out of it. It's just like, what are we going to do when they can't even shave it?
Doesn't know how to do anything. It doesn't even.
Yeah, I also want to clear up.
It goes bah. It doesn't even know what sound to make.
Even if you entertain the idea of a conspiracy like that, same punishment. If you're pushing it or entertaining the idea of it, also dead. I just want to put that out there.
Okay. We'll get into our number one Patreon. David Sumner says, I'm sad and depressed, but at least we're not a 6-10 team drafting Aaron Maben at number 11.
That's a good point, David.
We'll have so many chances in the next 10 years to get where we want to be. And I know that we will. Also, fire Leslie Frazier and don't resign Tremaine Edmonds.
You were doing so good.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Big changes, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Snuck it in.
You got to take these ballsy risks.
He went around the back of the net and snuck that into the short side.
There is a possibility that this might, I'd say 50-50. This might be the last time Kyle has seen Tremaine Edmonds play football as a Bill. Although you did come around with him this year. You did come around.
We were almost done with the pod. Now he's gonna talk for 20 minutes on this.
No,
you're right. I'm sorry.
He definitely made up this year. He's played phenomenal this year, and I think they clear space and bring him back. That's my prediction on him.
Okay,
It looked like he was going up against policemen in riot gear yesterday. That fucker wasn't getting through nothing. He looked terrible yesterday.
that was maybe his worst game of the year.
Yeah.
And as a reminder, sign up for that Patreon.
Yeah. Oh, the Patreon's going away. We're not doing the Patreon. I'm pulling the plug on that shit. We're not gonna get. What are we gonna get? More people going to the Patreon? Come on! If you're a
Yeah.
Patreon listener, we do a really good job.
We do.
If you're supporting the Patreon, like, give us one good reason why we should keep doing it. There's no reason.
All
What,
right,
do you
well-
want to hear an off-season episode where
Yeah.
Hey,
people-
send an email though.
Yeah,
send it in email form.
You know what? Message us on the Patreon in the huntcast@gmail.com. Whatever you want to do, tweet at us. Let us know if you're enjoying the Patreon.
tell us that you're one of the people that are just supporting the Patreon because you feel bad? Because we want to let
With
you off
that.
the hook. That's what we want. We're gonna let everyone off the hook is what we're gonna do. There's no more Patreon. It's gone.
Greg's on the fence, so send us those messages.
On the
Greg's on the fence. Send us those messages, people. We want to keep doing it. Me and Kyle wants to go to the mall with you. He's not going to do that if there's no Patreon.
I'd go to the
I
mall
do
with him
wanna go
without
to the mall.
recording it, and we'll go look around.
I don't know if that's true. Okay, let's get to the question game. Sign up for the Patreon. Here's the jersey we're giving away. Devin Singletary. Maybe the last time we saw him as a Bill.
Is his contract up?
His contract is up. So we have 3 questions. Tiebreaker if necessary.
More
Greg,
like Noter,
Yes.
what?
like motor, but no, as
No.
in no, not
No.
anymore.
Notary.
Yeah. He's
All
a
right,
motor. He's a motor republic.
Oh my lord. Question number 1. I was going to start with Greg. We're starting with Kyle now. Kyle, what number is larger? Devin Singletary regular season career yards, rushing and receiving, or days Khair Elam has been alive? Devin Singletary regular season career yards or days Khair Elam has been alive?
Yards.
It's going yards. Greg,
No, Elam Daisy's been alive.
Greg,
So it'd have to be like, yeah, it'd be like, let me take a guess real quick. 6,436 days.
7,928
Okay.
to 4,122.
Man,
Yeah.
I was so close on the Singletary thing and completely fucked up
Mm-hmm.
on the age. I went, all right, well, let's say Singletary averaged 1,000 yards a season, 4 seasons at 4,000 yards. And then I went, all right, 365 days, 10 years, 3,650 days. It's less. And I didn't do times 2.
Because he's 10 years old. He's not Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah. I never did the times 2.
Greg, question
makes sense.
to you. The Bills signed 2 players to the practice squad this week before the game.
Oh.
I'm going to give you 3 names. Tell me the name I made up. Is it A, Gerald Christian? Is it B, Cortez Broughton? Or is it C, Desmond Patman? I made up one of those names.
Kingsley Jonathan came off of it. I saw that. I was hoping he would be a question.
Now,
Um,
Gerald Christian, Cortez
right.
Broughton, or Desmond Patman?
Okay, I'm going to say C, Desmond Patman.
Okay, Kyle.
I was going to go Desmond Patton too.
Well, you're both
Patman.
incorrect. That is a receiver.
Great.
Cortez Broughton, and defensive tackle, and Gerald Christian, it was Mr. Irrelevant in 2015. A tight end. He actually played for us in 2016 a bit in training camp.
I don't remember that at all.
Nice. I wish him the best.
Question number 3. We'll start with Greg because he has. Oh no, start with.
No, you start with me because
yes,
I'm in the lead.
Yes, correct. Start with Greg. Greg, which of the following does Josh Allen not follow on Instagram? Is it A,
terrible?
Mighty Taco, B, Wegmans, C, Labatt, or D, West Her Auto Group?
Well, he's following West Her. That's a gimme. He's following Wegmans. He's got his cereal up in that bitch. The other one was Mighty Taco.
Mighty Taco and
then
Labatt.
Labatt's. I'll say he's not following Mighty Taco.
Okay, Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I think it's Mighty Taco.
But you can't just whimper across the finish line. You got to go for it.
Yeah, so
Don't punt on Cincinnati's 40.
yeah, I mean, I'll just go Wegmans. It's mighty, but I'll just go Wegmans.
It is mighty. Greg, you win. Good job. You win the jersey. Everyone's happy for you.
No, we're not. We're not happy. No one's happy.
I think David said it best, and I said it last year first, David, is I think that why I'm not as sad is, or not even affected anymore right now, is like, I just know they're going to be fine for like 12 more years. Like, it's not like there might even be an 8-8 season in there somewhere where like shit's really kind of it goes awry, but like just knowing you're gonna mostly be fine makes it I don't know, it almost takes the fun out of it. I feel like, Shaun, like what you were saying in the beginning, where you're like not affected because we've reached that point where we're good. And now I just have to sit through an entire season where I'm like, just get me to January. At week 5, we're playing the fucking 0-5 Browns or whatever. And I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's get this game done. We got to get to January. Yeah, they might lose it, but guess what? They're going to have double-digit wins by January. So, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but it's just that little bit of like, I think we've reached that spoiled phase of like, yeah, they lost, but Allen's not a fucking free agent. Who cares?
Mom, I don't want dinner. Just give me dessert.
That's it. I mean, but you don't feel that a little bit of like,
no,
again, you're facing the Bears in week whatever 16 last year, and you're like, what are they going to do? Win?
Why do you think I don't want to do a fucking draft episode of this stupid podcast? Like, why would I want to talk about that? It's not. It's stupid. They're not even going to draft good players.
That's true. But
we're not doing this. We're done. This is done. No one's listening. No one's listening.
Oh, do you mean? I think you mean the episode.
Yeah, people are done with this episode.
Yeah,
and they're not also going to listen like later.
But Greg's staying on that. Greg, you always at the end of the year, you got to reassure listeners that you're not going anywhere. People love you. They want more Greg in their life.
I don't think so. I honestly don't think that. I don't know. I'm going to do the podcast. Yeah, we're not doing the Patreon anymore. That's correct. We talked for 15 minutes before recording this about that.
We'll let the people decide, Greg. We're again, the Bills don't like goes up, and you gotta save the city. You can't just be like, I don't want to put on the bat suit today. I don't feel like it.
The city's in ruin. They don't show you Gotham after what's his name, Bane destroyed it. Like, Gotham took like 10 years to rebuild.
That's true. That's the Marvel movies.
I don't know.
They beat the aliens and then just leave like the city's not in ruins. They're just like, hey, you guys, I know we can pick up all these rocks pretty much at once, but we need jobs.
We need infrastructure Marvel characters, like some guy whose hands are like a bulldozer.
It's just some guy who's like not worried about aliens. He's just helping. Amazing. He's actually helping the city.
That's amazing. Like public bus man who's like, I gotta get on these routes.
He just makes sure, dude, if there was a superhero that just made sure subways and buses showed up on time, that's golden. Yeah. That's like real, like fuck Superman or Iron Man. Like, that's the man we need.
Yeah. A Marvel Avenger that can do group therapy to help everyone through the trauma. That's what we need.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a great idea. We always come up, as Kyle says, with good ideas right at the end. Okay, well, we'll be back in a couple weeks for our season recap episode. Greg,
we just recapped the season.
Oh wait,
you're already doing it to me.
Who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl, and who do you want to win the Super Bowl?
I will not even watch it.
I don't think I'm going to watch either.
No, it doesn't matter. Do you have a team you want to root for?
Anyone but the Eagles. I'd like maybe Cincy or San Fran.
Oh God, like the 4 teams that are left. Who do I root for? The guy that raped my parents. The guy that killed my parents.
Both.
The guy who burned down a school, or the guy who I don't know invented the Whopper song. Like, who do you fucking pick out of those 4 people?
I was fully on board with Cincy. And then I sat behind one of the worst fans I've ever sat behind sat near in a professional football game. And his entire group, he was just one of those guys who was like a dick for like almost immediately was just a fucking asshole for no reason. And because of that guy and fuck that team and that franchise. But I think I'm gonna go San Fran. I think it'd be good for I like Shanahan. It's cool, wears cool hats. And I think it'd be super funny if a fucking Mr. Irrelevant won the Super Bowl and
Yeah.
it just flipped and he just beats Mahomes or Burrow. And for that, I like Shanahan. Get his redemption from 28-3 and having to put up with Jimmy Garoppolo for 19 years or whatever it was.
All right. Well, that's our episode. Thank you for listening. We'll be back. Greg doesn't believe it, but we got off-season episodes planned. We'll see you then. We love you. Message us about the Patreon. Greg doesn't believe anyone listens.
I'm in the blue tent and I'm questionable to return.
All right. Well, we'll see you soon. Greg will be there.
Sweeto. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us this season.
The Bills make me wanna cry. Kick my heels up and cry. Throw my hands up and die. Come on, the Bills are giving it their best try. So curl up in a ball and cry. Say